Introduction. The poems, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent by John Milton and Sad Steps by Philip Larkin, provide a reflection of how individuals can utilize their lives, especially from their youthful period through into their old age. The poems highlight the lives of individuals during their youthfulness and their service to the Creator. Some of the styles used by the poets to explain the relevance of the poems include imagery, metaphors, and language. These styles help in facilitating the messages that the poets present to society using the poems. Therefore, the paper analyses and provides the theme of reflection in the poems, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent by John Milton and Sad Steps by Philip Larkin. Reflection on early life. The theme that the poems, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent by John Milton and Sad Steps by Philip Larkin, presents include reflections on how the poets lived during their youthful stages. In his poem, Milton states that, When I consider how my light is spent, ere half my days, in this dark world and wide. This statement depicts a reflection on how the poet spent the first half of his life. According to the poet, a considerable amount of time went to waste because of his situation during his youthful stage. To stress the point of his situation, the poet uses the dark and wide world, an aspect that presents the time that the poet lived in oblivion. Thus, from the reflection, the poet considers the period that he spent dark world as a waste. Through the poem, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent, John Milton reflects how he utilized his life before going blind at the age of 45. According to the poet, life is a precious gift from the Creator, and thus, people must use it in a productive way. In his reflections, Milton explains that God expects people to bear his mild yoke, which is a good service during their lifetime so that they can leave a good legacy. In this view, the poet asserts that God expects people to use their lives to serve others in society. As a result, the poem is very relevant in conveying the message that life is important and individuals need to utilize it optimally since it is short. In the poem, John Milton uses words such as light to symbolize the time when he was young, energetic, and could see, to explain that it is vital for individuals to utilize their lives because God will judge everyone concerning what they did during their lifetime. On the other hand, the poem, Sad Steps by Philip Larkin also reflects on the importance of using one's youth wisely and in a productive manner. Youth is one of the stages in life, and once gone, no one can recover it back. The reflection of the fact that youth is a stage that people go through once in life explains the necessity to maximize it wisely. Therefore, through the poem, the poet informs the young people that they need to utilize their youthfulness wisely. Moreover, the poet reflects on other people, who are still young and have undiminished energy, and thus advises them to utilize their formative years effectively. The poet explains that everyone in the society goes through a period of youthfulness, which is very significant as God bestows vibrant lives to people. The poem, Sad Steps by Philip Larkin also reflects on the essence of optimizing youthfulness. According to Philip, life is a one-way journey and needs care and wisdom, since once individuals pass through a certain stage, they cannot recover the spent period. In the poem, Philip Larkin reflects on the moon, the 4 o'clock wind, and the clouds, which remind him of the events of his lifetime and the fact that he cannot recover the time spent in his lifetime. Statements such as is a reminder of the strength and pain of being young, that it can't come again, demonstrate the fact that human life is a one-way journey. Therefore, Philip Larkin uses his poem, Sad Steps, to reflect on his actions during the early stages of life and relays a message to society concerning the benefits that accrue from the diligent use of one's youthfulness in life. Conclusions. The poems, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent by John Milton and Sad Steps by Philip Larkin provide a reflection of how the poets imagine their youthful stages of life. In the poem When I Consider How My Light Is Spent, John Milton explains that God grants everybody the gift of life, and the role of people is to ensure that they use the gift wisely and productively. Furthermore, John Milton states that it is important for individuals to utilize their lives optimally, since uncertainties can hinder them from achieving their goals and dreams. On the other hand, Philip Larkin uses the poem, Sad Steps, to explain the fact that human life is a one-way journey and once individuals pass through a certain stage in life, they cannot return. Therefore, the poems offer reflections about the importance of youthfulness and thus are very important in the study of human life and the benefits that accrue from youthfulness. This and many other essays are available at studycorgi.com.